Now, Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse has updated on the multi-party government's decision to rescind the conversion of fixed-term contracts to permanent staff in their employ. Phalatse says the conversion of some employment contracts from fixed-term to permanent was irregular. The decision comes after the new council declared the conversion of their contracts unlawful. For more, our reporter Masego Rahlaga joins us now. Good morning, Masego. What exactly came out of today's briefing by the Johannesburg Mayor?
Well, basically today, the City of Johannesburg's executive mayor, that's Mpho Phalatse, she was clarifying along with the acting city manager that their communication with those about 130 or more employees was actually a conversation around compliance. She says none of them actually got, a notice for termination of contracts, etc. She says what they basically are trying to do is have a conversation with these employees who were apparently employed by the city. It was a political employment, and therefore when their political heads are ousted, as you know, after the 1st of November elections, a new government came into play, and those people were supposed to have vacated their positions. But basically she's saying that their employment from a fixed contract to permanent is illegal, and she was basically saying, along with the city manager, that they are in conversation with these employees for the employees to help them rectify the situation. They're saying that if they left it to the last minute, they would get into trouble by law in terms of COCTA and SALGA regulations regarding this. I've got one of the letters actually that were given to some of these employees, about 130 of them, dated the 28th of February 2022, and some of the things that are listed by the city and its new manager or new executive is that the facilitation of such permanency may be constituting offences of offering an unlawful gratification in the form of employment in terms of section 1, 4 and 10 of the prevention of combating of corrupt activities. They also go on to say the acceptance of such permanency also may be constituting offences of receiving an unlawful gratification in the form of employment in terms of section 1, 4 and 10 again of the prevention of combating corrupt activities. They also then also quote the Municipal Finance Management Act with regards to the public spending from such illegal and unlawful permanency. But here is a snippet of some of what the executive mayor told us today.
As a result of the mechanizations of the previous mayoral committee, the city and its residents are victims of an attempted political hijacking that we are bound by law to correct. To deduce that the multi-party government's correction of an illegal and expensive action is a witch hunt fueled by political motives is untrue and a willful disregard for the Municipal Finances Management Act, the MFMA, that prescribes in Section 78 that each senior manager of a municipality and each official of a municipality in exercising financial management responsibilities must take all reasonable steps within their respective areas of responsibility to ensure that the system of financial management and internal control established for the municipality is carried out diligently, that the financial and other resources of the municipality are utilized effectively, efficiently, economically, and transparently, that any unauthorized, irregular, or fruitless and wasteful expenditure and any losses are prevented. With 130 personnel imposed on political officers and the city's salary bill at a cost of at least 80 million rands per annum, we had to regularize these appointments in line with the original terms of employment. We do suspect that there could be more irregular appointments in the system.
Scary listening to that, where she says they suspect there could be more irregular appointments there at the municipality. But Masego, I understand that you have a guest with you currently.
That's correct. So we decided, Fundo, that we would get a comment from a steward or somebody who's representing those 130 plus staff members, just to get both sides of the story, especially after the clarification that the executive mayor wanted to give us today. His name is Karabo Ramahuma. Thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Now, firstly, the executive mayor as well as the acting city manager are saying that this is not an issue of labor. They're saying that they are in conversation with employees about compliance. What is your response?
Thank you very much, and good day to the listeners. I think that's where the problem starts. How is it that when a person's contract runs the risk of being terminated, that you don't call it a labor issue? It has been the city's desire. They've tried 3 times already to sideline the union out of this. I hear they are saying they are in conversation. We have written to them yesterday responding to the very same notice that they're speaking about. But to our surprise, in the morning, our members were woken up by heavily armed K9 unit of JMPD, delivering the same things that we had already returned to them and emailed. The same city manager, by the way, that was speaking so boldly about it, he's the recipient of our response. But still today, he managed to take the resources of the city to go and harass and humiliate our members, even in front of the communities. And imagine waking up in the morning, heavily armed people knocking just to deliver a piece of paper. So they are not in conversation with us. They are trying to want to deal with workers without the union. Even today, in this press briefing, they refused us access. I'm sure you have seen even now, before we went on air, there were heavily armed JMPD officers. Fortunate enough, they too are our members, and they know that we are their leaders. We normally defend them when the same administration is up running against them. So they asked what is happening, and we indicated that no, nothing is happening. So I'm just saying, coming to the issue, the city of Johannesburg has taken a very confrontational approach in relation to these issues. They said somewhere, as politicians in council, Friday, 7:30, they take this resolution. From 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. on Sunday morning, our members start getting these notices. We had to come convene and say to the employer, no, but these members are represented by SAMU, and if there's anything else, address it to the organized labor. They did not. So I'm just saying, we have a city, by the way, this administration, and I don't want to go back because I don't want to politicize this thing. Each time when is this administration, they would do anything to undermine and make sure that they wish away the union. You know, we do not understand why is it that as a stakeholder that the city would not want to engage with us.
Just very quickly, clarification, because I'm running out of time. So your issue is not these letters and what they contain. Your issue is that you are being sidelined as the union, and you feel you need to be able to be the ones who communicate on behalf of your members.
No, our issues are beyond that. The issues are the letters. These people were hired by the same city manager's office. Remember, as employees of City of Johannesburg, we do not work for political administrations. We work for City of Johannesburg. Who becomes the city manager, whether it's Mr. Floyd Brink or Mesulim Landu acting, whatever, we do, it doesn't matter. So we have a serious problem with the letter, and where we are thinking, where we are, we know that we are not irregularly appointed. If we were irregularly appointed, and if the issue is about addressing the irregularities, what is happening with the people that were advising the city's legal department, the HR, the same people who are saving these letters? What is happening to them? You know, so that's where we are. That we are vehemently opposed to this. That our members are not irregularly employed. Actually, there are irregular things that the city needs to address. Here, they are just trying to create space for their people. They must just decently approach the union to say, we want you to move. We have our people, and we can perhaps say to have an engagement, an honest one that says, if you don't want our members here, you want to bring your people from wherever. Let's look at other positions, but we don't even have that conversation. We have a hostile relationship with the city.
Thank you very much. That is Karabo Ramahuma. He is speaking on behalf of those staff members in Mfundo. So basically, the city, on the other hand, is saying that some of these appointments were actually political. So when that political head of that particular department, etc., leaves, they're supposed to leave with those staff. It's something that is done across the world. And they're saying that it was unlawful to make those staff members permanent, leaving them to be forced to take the same staff members. What they've also said is that they have until the 30th of April with their contracts that were fixed in the first place. Then from the 1st of May, there will be some interviews conducted, and it doesn't necessarily mean that these 130 plus staff members will be locked out of those interviews and will be stopped from applying for those positions.